Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today I'm going to be doing a really quick unboxing of Moon by Sinister Fish Games. This is as it says on the box here, a pick and pass building game for 1 to 5 players. If you know anything about my channel, I'm a huge fan of Sinister Fish's game titles. They've done stuff as Villagers, they've done Streets, and now this is their 3rd game called Moon. I'm super excited to dig into this. I know there's a solo mode, so I hope to get that to the channel pretty soon, but let's dig into these boxes and see what we have. And if you're excited to do that, then I need you to meet me at the table. Before we dig into the box, I do want to mention this is my Kickstarter copy that I backed for the game. And let's dig in, see what it's all about. And I really like the way they package these because every one of them stands right next to each other. Okay, we got a lot of cards. We do have some card dividers and we have our tokens. Now I believe I got the all-in Kickstarter edition with all the neat little ways of doing it. Yes, so they either come with the paper components, which I think are going to be back here. Nope, just stuff flying all over the place. These are actually the cardboard components, or actually, sorry, wood components that I got. These are the upgraded components that I've received with my Kickstarter because I went kind of all in just like I always do. So let's dig through all this and see what we have. This is going to be one of our things for scoring, our instruction booklet. And then we have a lot of different cards. We're going to dig in and I'm going to show you everything there is. The first thing is we'll go through these quick boxes, and of course we just saw these a second ago, but these are going to be your resource tokens. The yellow ones are energy tokens, the blue ones are water tokens, the gray are metal tokens, and the green are bio tokens. These you're going to use to potentially build and pay for certain cards you get. Also on top of that, you can use these to gain scoring cards as well, and I'll show you how all that works as we go through this unboxing. Next, we have our Lunar Land Rover Theories here. These are going to help break ties. They're also going to be ways of getting resources and things from your fellow players that are out on the moon. You can send these little rovers over to their little areas and gain potentially a flag or a resource from a particular card, and I'll show you what those are all about. The first thing you're going to do in the game is you're going to be given a random moon base, and each one of these has a different resource that it produces, and it has a different flag that is going to help build some of the cards that you're going to get. When you gain resources, you're going to get them when you actually build the cards. On top of that, you're going to gain the resources each production phase. There are 3 different eras that you're going to play through during the game. I'm going to move this out of the way so we can kind of talk about these things. So you're going to start with one of your moon bases. The goal of the game is to gain as many hearts as you can, and whoever has the most at the end is the winner. And you're going to do that by gaining cards through the eras. There's eras 1, 2, and there's also era 3 cards as well. And these cards are going to have different structures, different cards you can use as one-time bonuses, and also gaining resources, and also point scoring cards as well. So let's just quickly look at some of the era 1 cards, for example. So these are ones that are going to build you resources. There's no requirement for this to play, and you're going to be able to gain that resource when you build it. And of course, in each era, when you go to gain resources, you're going to get one of these type of resources as you go through. There's also these you're going to build. Now there's no requirement for this, except you do have to have the tag in order to build it. For example, I could build this road because I have the road tag on this. If I didn't have the road tag, let's say I'm using this particular one here, I wouldn't be able to build that yet, but maybe there's somebody else over in another base that has that tag. I could send one of my Lunar Land Rovers over there, put it here, and then be able to build that over here on my base. But of course, once you send that Lunar Lander over, it is now theirs. It's considered theirs, and when you go to take rovers back. For example, all of these are going to take a different type of resource to be able to play. So you'll have to try to gain those resources either through these blue cards or by sending rovers over to help your friends. These pink ones are going to be one-time use type cards. As you can see, you flip it to be able to perform this action on the bottom. There's some more still for the resources you gain, and I think there are some gray cards. These are end game scoring cards. So you're going to gain points if you have that particular thing, or you're going to gain hearts equal to the amount of cards that have that production on them, from what I understand. I could be wrong about that. So there's all these different ones, and there are just random weird. This is a unique card. You'll have to read the rules on that to find out exactly how that's played. But overall, that's really what you're doing in this game. Is you're going to be gaining resources, and of course, this is a drafting game, so you're going to get 8 cards. You're going to draft one and have to play it out. If you cannot play that out, you can always recycle it. It's not called recycling. It's called assimilating. You can assimilate it. And there are these cards called expedition cards. They also go with the exact eras as well. In each era, you're going to randomly put one of these in each of the decks that you're dealing out to players, except for these two. These are to go to the first person, or not the first person, but it's going to go to the first expedition card. It's going to go to the person who has the loudest voice. Most of the time, that's me. So I'd be the one probably gaining this one. But then all the other decks would have one randomly put in. And you can use this as most of these are bonus actions that you're going to be able to perform on your turn when you get the deck, and this will go with each deck as it goes around the table. So everybody has a chance to use these cards as they go through the deck. For example, this one says that I can add a heart to one of my flag rewards. So if I had one that gave me a reward based on flags, I could get the extra heart on it. This one says gain one resource of your choice. You can play that and gain a resource of your choice. Of course, you don't have to play these. Some of these might not help. For example, this one is the one that you'd get for your first expedition. It says if you assimilate this turn, get double the rewards. So if I didn't want this card, I could assimilate it for this particular thing down here, which I believe is metal. Yes, this is metal. So you'd get one metal. This you'd get, you get two metal. This you'd get bio. So you get two bio if you assimilated it. So that's basically how you do it. You go around drafting, and at the end of each era, you're going to score points based on what you have already built, and that's featured right here. There is going to be 3 different eras of scoring, and the person with the most flags of each of those is going to take the point totals that come from these particular things, which are found in this box right here. They're going to be, well, there's also every other point value as well, but you're going to place out, I believe it's 3, then 4, then 5. It's based on player count, I believe. I could be wrong about that. And you're going to, as you go to the scoring round, you're going to say who has the most of this symbol. You're going to gain, then that person gets, let's say, 3 points for that, and so on and so forth. So that's one way to score, is to try to go for these. The other way to score is, of course, near the end. I'm sure number 3 is a ton of those gray ones. There's a lot of gray cards, so these are going to be end games. So you're going to gain 1 for every card that's one of these producing cards. You're going to gain 1 for every gray card you have. So there's a lot of different ones. You get 9 points at the end of the game just for building a vineyard. Of course, there is cost associated with. You have to have the cost in order to play the card. And if I couldn't, I'd be able to recycle it or assimilate it. I apologize, for 2 metal if you wanted to. So there are a whole ton of different things you can do. And of course, this up here also shows you how many of that particular card there are. There are 2 museums, for example, 2 parliaments. And for example, there's only 1 evil corporation. I should probably build that. This one allows you to copy any one of these. So if you had one that gave you a lot of points, like say you wanted the 9 points, you could copy it for get another 9 points. Why not? That's a way to do it. So that's another way to score points in this game. The other way to score points is going to be these cards right here. There's bronze, gold, and silver cards. These are going to be put out on the table. And if you're able to be the first person to succeed at fulfilling the requirement of this card, you're going to gain it. So not only are you going to get the points values of it, but you're going to get the power down here. It has an ongoing ability. I can take X hearts whenever you flip a structure card, which I'm guessing the X is the value of that structure that you're flipping. This one, for example, innovate. I could get 2 points for this. And it says you have 3 or more hearts placed on your structure cards. And I'd be able to gain this. I would get 2 points, and I would also get, you may build a yellow structure cards with a discount of 1 resource. So you gain these things, and these are going to go down based on player count. You're going to put down the random ones for bronze. You're going to put down random ones for silver and random ones for gold. And if you ever meet, of course, one of these requirements, you're going to gain the point values of this. So if I have 3 of each of those type of cards, I'm going to be able to gain 7 points, and then take 1 of each resource type when I claim this card. That's actually absolutely fantastic. Of course, that's why it's in a level. The gold part, which is going to be in the 3rd area, you're going to see them in the silver and the bronze. But these are all laid out here. So you could get this card right away in the 1st era, but I mean, I think it'd be pretty tough because it's going to have requirements. The requirements you're trying to get to are going to be things that are going to be found more as you play through the game, where the bronze ones are going to be ones that are probably going to come up pretty easily, only needing to get, if you produce all of these type of resources, you would gain this card right away. That's a lot easier to get than some of the gold ones, but they are something you can strive for to try to get points. So there's multiple ways to score points. And of course, at the end, you're going to add up all the points that you have, and you're going to see who wins. Now, there is a solo mode. That is going to be this right here. It is a GURPS solo mode, and it has its own deck of cards that you're going to be playing again. And no, GURPS does not mean generic universal role-playing game system. It does mean something different. It is the generic universal robotic profit system, which, quite similar. The other thing you're going to want to check for as you're playing through the game is some of these cards are for only 1 to 2 players, or for 3 or more players. You're going to take those cards out if you're playing with 2 players or solo. You'll have to go through and figure out exactly which one of those cards they are, but they are notated on the card. Of course, it does come with some really great cardboard separators for the box. I really always dug the box. Like I said, you can just put all the cards right back in and everything fits really well. Yeah, and I do have the card sleeves for this, which came with the Kickstarter. And I love the fact that they actually are just the back of the card. They're not clear card sleeves. They're the actual cards that, so you put all the ones in those, of course, twos in those, and so on and so forth. They have all the different ones. And they even have the ones for the expansion set, which we're going to look at now. When beginning the game for using the the Valkyrie expansion, you're going to just set that board up there as well as with this one. Then you're going to take the cards associated with each era and put them to the side. And then you're going to put out cards equal to the number of players above this board. After that is done, each player is going to gain one of these spacecrafts. So if you're playing with a 3-player game, 3 players are going to get these spacecrafts. And then you're going to put the ones that you're not using on the 1 and the 5. And they're just going to get... And so when you decide it's your turn, as a free action, instead of using your vehicle as the rover vehicle, you can use this vehicle instead, and you can launch yourself back to Earth to get one of these really cool prizes. For example, one of them is a meteor magnet, and yes, these are like really cool looking cards. Of course, you don't have to use those. They do have a pack that aren't like that as well, but I don't see why you wouldn't use the cool looking ones. And you can gain this. Of course, you have to abide by the different components here. You'd have to have 2 metal and I believe this tag in order to get this card. But once you get it, you can use it then these are supposed to be really kind of powerful cards for you to go out and try to get. Now, of course, on camera, these might not be the greatest to use, but I think in real life, they'd be absolutely awesome. Now, if you are playing with 5 players, remember, the deal is you can gain whichever card you want out of the 5 that are up there, but if you're the first person to do it, you're not going to get any bonuses. So when you go to launch your rovers or these spaceships, it's going to be a choice for you. Do you want to get the worst card up here potentially? Of course, everybody's going to want something different from there based on how they're building out their base. Or if you can even wait till the end to get one, you're going to gain 2 resources of your choice from what I understand. Or for example, if you want to be the second one, you're going to get a rover, so on and so forth. Depends on which time you want to place your little Valkyrie spacecraft up there to try to get one of those rewards. Of course, the expansion also does come with some more scoring cards and more era cards as well, or expedition cards, I apologize. And here's the ones that aren't foil, so you can actually look at it and read it a little bit better. For example, this one says, it will only hit hard, but let's not worry about that right now. It's a meteor magnet. So there's some good comedy going on in these cards, which is pretty sweet. So there are a lot of different ones going on. Look at this one. You can be a fossilator, an arc. You can build an arc that's out of control. It's an endgame scoring card, which is kind of cool. So there you go. Anyway, that is going to be the unboxing here for Moon. I don't think there is much left to show you. I've kind of scattered it all over my table here. So I hope you enjoyed the unboxing. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you know when more Moon content comes out or anything else, of course, on my channel. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. I will be doing a solo playthrough of this. I've really enjoyed Sinister Fish's games. My wife and I have a tendency to play these quite often because they're quick to get to the table and a lot of fun to play. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please feel free to check out my Patreon. The link to that is also in the description of this video. Those that have already joined the Patreon are located here on the screen. I appreciate all the Patreon. It means the world to me. It's awesome to have you all here. Patreon supporters get the ability to watch my playthrough videos usually a day or 2 before they drop without commercial interruptions. On top of that, they also help decide how the game goes forward. If there's decisions that can be made in the game or before the game, I'll let them help decide like what characters we're going to play with or what cards we should use for our characters and things going forward in the game, so they can help decide how these games turn out. So there you have it. That is the unboxing of Moon. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're excited to see the playthrough of Moon or anything else, then I need you to meet me at the table.